Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pony 411. This is number 286 for the week of December 22nd, 2019. Yes, winter has now begun.
Winter is here.
Yes. I'm Nemesis, and I'm joined, as you heard there, by Alca7raz.
Yo.
Yeah, and I saw the new Star Wars. I don't think he has yet.
I have not.
Yeah. Spoiler-free-esque review. I enjoyed it, but it was also really messy. And I think it's also the weakest of the sequel trilogy, so there's that. So that's my quick review of it. So if you haven't seen it yet, tentative, maybe you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I've been hearing it's rather divisive.
Oh yeah, it's divisive.
But all of the sequels have been divisive in different ways.
Yeah,
and
I just still think The Last Jedi is the best of the sequel series and possibly one of the best Star Wars movies ever made. Empire Strikes Back, I think, is still the best one, though. But yeah, yes, winter, as I said, also winter has arrived. As I actually recorded, is the first day of winter.
Yes.
By the time you hear this, will be a couple days in. But yeah, winter's here, which means the year is almost over. Christmas is almost upon us. New Year's is coming, 2020. Which will also bring Pony Life, maybe. We'll get into that in a little bit. Because, we have some news. We have our discussion topic, which, yes, we were able to get our thing done, which means we are going to talk about the series as a whole, including some more listing. And
we're going to attempt. I will say that.
You will attempt.
I will make an attempt.
And, of course, a bit of music in the fan content section at the end of the show. So we'll go ahead and get started with some news. So if you'd like to follow along, go to pony411.libsyn.com/show notes. It's spelled LIBSYN. If you want to go there and click links and get more info on all this stuff. So we'll start with convention news. And SeaBronies has announced Peter New for their 2020 Hawaii cruise. And that will be in the fall of next year, I believe, or early or late summer. It's September. Over the course, actually at the end of summer and beginning of fall. And in fandom news and whatnot, the Tales of Fallout Equestria RPG Handbook has been released. It is something you can go download from, I believe, DeviantArt if you want, and possibly print it out yourself because there is no physical copy because, well, that's expensive.
Yeah, it's fan-made.
Yes, expensive, and that's fan-made. And Other Side of the Mirror, an album to help the family of Luxus, a recently deceased Polish fan, has been released.
Yes. I haven't had a chance to fully go through it, but I did pick it up. So, help out if you can.
Yeah. In merchandise news, the Gameloft MLP game has gotten a Freedom of the Press update with The Last Problem update on the way as well. Apparently that one is going to have time travel element in it.
Cornucopia of confusing concepts.
Disturbing concepts.
Thank you. You're the fan.
Yeah, so that's going to be, apparently Lyra and Bonbon are going to be trying to fix the timeline because all of a sudden future ponies are meeting present ponies and blah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think Gameloft is kind of doing their own thing with it. They're not taking
it's kind of like, how do you get the future versions to coexist with the current versions?
Yeah. Yeah, because all the characters all kind of exist in the same Gameloft world. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. And the Kotobukiya MLP figures apparently getting garage kit versions, and what that is basically you get an unpainted, unassembled version of the figure, and you have to put it together and paint it yourself.
Some assembly required.
And it will be cheaper, but again, you have to put it together yourself. Paint included.
Yeah, some people really like doing that.
Mm-hmm. They will apparently include, I think, I'm not sure if they're decals, there's the decals or stickers, but yeah, there's some of the detail stuff, like for the eyes. I believe they're probably some sort of decal, either wet or dry rub. Not sure. And apparently Zag Toys has released MLP minifigures or something. At least they have them on their site on their portfolio.
Yeah.
I have seen nothing about it. Although, weirdly enough, when I went curious Google search for Zag Toys MLP, I got a return for Big Bad Toy Store, but nothing listed. So there's something in their system.
It exists somewhere, or not entirely certain the details, though.
So yeah, it's like I get a Big Bad Toy Store. It clearly Big Bad Toy Store pings it. But when you go search for it, it's blank. You just get a nothing listing. So that's something's there.
Watch, it'll be there by Sunday.
Oh no, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So moving on though, comics. Apple Books has a preview of Friendship is Magic number 85. And there will be a special Season 10 MLP comic for Free Comic Book Day, which is in May. And the comics are supposed to come out in April. And Friendship is Magic number 88 has been revealed. The Draytona breach has begun. Big Macintosh and Silverstreak are racing to determine the fate of their friendship, and Rainbow Dash is racing to prove herself again. And Sax Romer is racing to retrieve his stolen goods in order to get them across the Yakistani border. Who's going to come out on top? I have no idea who half those characters are. Actually, I think Silver Streak wasn't that the...
Silver Streak
No.
sounds familiar.
No, that was Silver Shill, wasn't it?
I can't remember. It sounds familiar, but I can't quite place it.
And it was
Sax Romer is new.
Probably, I guess, character for that story.
Also sounds like some sort of drug smuggler.
I don't think it's drug, considering it says stolen goods.
Retrieve his well, it could be. Some sort of smuggler.
And there will be a new Equestria Girls comic called Canterlot High March Radness. Spring has sprung and your favorite Equestria Girls are back with 3 brand new adventures. Celebrate March Radness with a spring athletic event, a visit by the famous AK Yearling herself, and detention. Return to Canterlot High where mischief, fun, and friendship collide.
Detention?
Yes, well, they were in detention before, remember?
Yes.
There are 2 comic covers also for that one as well. One of them is by Tony Fleece, and I'm wondering if Tony there has not quite gotten the handle on the Equestria Girls, because, oof on that one. Some of those faces aren't great.
Yeah. It happens.
Other cover is great, though. I like the other cover, though.
Yeah, that one's by Pencils.
Yeah, I like that one. That's good. And Equestria Girls news. The final parts of Holiday Unwrapped, Dashing Through the Mall, and Oh Come All You Squashful are out on YouTube. Parts 5 and 6.
Yep.
And that, I believe, would be the end of the Equestria Girls shorts.
Yep.
Who knows how things will go in the future.
Everything's up in the air right now.
Mm-hmm.
Giant, big unknown.
And I guess in Pony Life news, the Pony Life announcement videos have been made private or removed from official sources.
Oh no, what could this mean?
Yeah, there's speculation, but I think the most commonly accepted theory is just apparently has to do with the singer of the song got a bit of a trouble or something. Or there's a bit of controversy around her. Let's see. Right. They were twerking in an NBA game and caused a bunch of drama. And apparently that was enough for them to decide to pull the announcement. Although there's some people going, oh my god, they're canceling it, aren't they?
Yep, that's why the fans didn't like it, so they're pulling the entire thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In which way, they're gone for some reason. Who knows? They might come back with. We'll find out if they come back, and if they come back with like a new announcement video with a whole new song. Coincidentally, I did actually save a copy on my computer because I had this weird feeling like, what if Hasbro pulls is because someone gets mad about them using the word hell? So I have it.
So we have it saved. I'm certain you're not the only one.
There you go.
Maybe it's up on Daily Motion still.
I don't know, but that's the news.
Yep.
So we'll go ahead and move on to our main discussion topic, which is, well, actually kind of the series overall. We've always done those wrap up episodes whenever a season ends, and well, I kind of wanted to do this for a while, which is it's kind of a series wrap up of sorts.
Wait. So we're doing a wrap up in the beginning of winter.
Mm-hmm.
So is this another form of winter wrap up?
Yes.
We're wrapping up in winter. We're not wrapping up winter itself.
Yes, that's what I was alluding to. Absolutely. But yeah, as we always done this for the seasons, so we'll might as well try to do it for the series overall, which is a little more difficult and kind of a bigger one just because of the sheer amount of stuff.
Holy crap! Yeah,
for 26 episodes or 200 something episodes.
How long have we been planning this?
A couple months
now, and when did I finally get semblance of a list made?
Last night.
Right, yesterday.
Yeah, it's a lot. Because we're gonna do that a little bit different than we usually do. But yeah, the series overall, as of course, obviously we liked it. I mean,
no, it was absolutely horrible.
I mean, the thing about the series overall, it's kind of just when you think about it, it's like, yeah, the fact it's was on for 9 years and all this stuff was kind of crazy. Yeah, 9 seasons. Let's see, you got 9 seasons, a theatrical movie, a TV movie, a special, a handful of shorts, a spin-off set of movies, a spin-off that spin-off also had its own special set of specials, and then a bunch of shorts there as well. This has been a pretty popular franchise.
It got an entire comic line. Its spin-off also got a set of comics. It has some legs.
Yeah, an unexpected success.
Yes, it was entirely unexpected. I think as normal. I think season 1 was the only originally planned, and then quickly got 3 seasons.
Season 1 was my understanding was season 1 was...
I'm trying to remember if they had originally planned.
No, they planned for 65 episodes. That was the initial order.
Okay.
65 episodes, that makes it easy for syndication. But way back when we, as a fandom, didn't know whether or not I was going to get past season 1 or not, because at that time they weren't really communicating with us at all.
Yeah.
Because they were like, they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, everything was so new.
At first it was just like, oh, wait, what?
Wait.
Adult fans? What?
What?
Yeah, so that was the whole thing. So it's like we were in the dark for a long time until we got TV listing, until they announced the season 2 premiere in like August or something like that, and showed us Discord and all that stuff.
Yep, and that was right about the time I found out about it all. Well, I joined it, I should say.
The whole thing. So yeah, it's just over 200 episodes of stuff. It's the longest running Hasbro owned show ever. Beat out Transformers a long time ago. Actually, back in season 5, it beat out Transformers. Doubled that.
Ponies can beat up robots, apparently.
Right. Another thing, I guess when it comes to girls shows, it's beat out Sailor Moon by 20 something episodes.
Dang.
Yeah, because Sailor Moon was had quite the record in its own right, because at 200 episodes. But of course, other things are still much longer. Simpsons has outlasted by a long time.
Yeah.
One Piece.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Dragon Balls, that whole thing. Yeah. So it's still, and it's a notable accomplishment though. It's for a merchandise-driven show for girls to go for 220 something episodes, and for 9 years.
Yeah,
especially when a lot of the early fans were probably have aged out of the demographic well beforehand.
Well, how many of the early fans were never in the demographic?
No, I'm just a
lot of us, we were in the age group or right on the edge of it, but yeah, 9 years later, we're not anymore.
Yeah, it's just that's kind of the interesting thing of like, something like this usually doesn't last long because, well, the demographic you're aiming at grew up and, well, they're not really buying anymore, so we got to reinvent it for the new age group.
Yep.
And that didn't happen this time. Instead, it just kept going and going and going and going.
And over and over.
Yeah. I will say that I kind of you could start to feel towards the end that they were starting to hit a wall writing-wise.
A bit.
They're starting to hit that, like we started seeing kind of recycled ideas, and they're kind of putting less focus on the main 6 and more on other characters.
Or like usually a sign of them trying to freshen things up and keep things relevant. Weird
gimmicks to add more, to attempt to add more characters, like say a school or a student or stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a common thing once you start seeing them, like,
or a baby.
Yeah, if you have a show that it's pretty set in what it does, and then a few seasons later suddenly start adding new characters, a bunch, that's usually a sign that they're trying to find new stories because they're running out. Not always, but it's not uncommon.
Occasionally recycled plot lines, more or less.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Applejack and Rainbow Dash are competing over stupid stuff and getting into trouble. Hey.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, toward the end, it's one of those things I feel like, yeah, it was probably time for it to end. It probably needed to end as much as some people really wanted to keep going. I think it's one of those things like we need to, it would have to keep it fresh, they would have to completely reinvent the show.
Insert Batman quote here.
Right.
Either die a hero or live to see yourself become the villain.
But I think season-wise, overall, at the end of the day, season 4 is probably the best overall season.
Yeah, I was going through this.
I think I would say other seasons may have hit a higher highs at some point, but season 4 was consistently good.
If you want to say consistency, that was a big one, because like which season had like the best episodes? Season 9 had some really good episodes in there, but for consistently good, I would probably also agree with you with season 4. It was season 4 out of all these I had the hardest time trying to figure out like which was the ones I liked the least.
Oh yeah.
And season 4 is just like, I'm grasping at straws to find bottom of the barrel episodes here because it was just so consistently good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, other seasons definitely had higher highs. Not by much, but
yeah, because although I still find that weird because I'm fascinating because other people have said that they don't like season 4 that much and find it to be a weak season overall. I'm like, okay.
I think it is a tough one. Like, everyone has the things that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And if the episodes aren't what you're looking for, then you're not going to treat them highly.
Yeah.
And it's something that I was struggling with going through all these, trying to figure out my list, is there's so much differences in a lot of these episodes. I was having a hard time actually comparing them and trying to figure out, is this one better than this one? Well, that depends on what side of the bed I woke up on. Because these episodes, they're good for reasons A and B, and this episode is really good for reasons C and D. So whichever of those reasons happens to be more resonant with me at the time is going to rate higher. But, give me an hour and let me think about other things, and it can reweight them to put the other episode up higher. And so, like, yeah, some people may not think season 4 was as good if they're looking for other things.
Yeah, I will also say, though, season 6 was probably for me, the weakest overall.
Season 6,
it was either there's a double problem of just they had several problems. One, they introduced a new character who I did not like, and they made even worse through that in the middle of that season.
I would say reintroduce, because we knew about the character in season
introduce
5.
Introduce a protagonist.
Yeah,
they had a whole bunch of new writers who were clearly had not found their footing yet.
Right.
I'm writing these characters. And so because of that, a lot of the episodes just wound up being forgettable and mediocre. And so it's like
a perfect storm of problems.
Yeah. And this was, my understanding was, this was, from what I've heard from staff members after the fact, this was when things were starting to fall behind and get a little crazy behind the scenes a little bit too. Like also we just lost Megan McCarthy a little bit before this, and they just lost Emmy Larson just before this, and
Yeah, all like the mainstays who've been there since the beginning, who really understand the characters and can guide the writers and editors. It was like, yeah, this is what we've done. This is where things all kind of left. So
although this is
like,
what
okay.
really, one thing that really alarms me was, I remember seeing that this is one of the leaks things. One of the things was leaked out was the writer cheat sheet that they made for the new writers back in season 6.
Yes.
This leaked out, and I remember way back when season 6 came out, Jim Miller said Starlight, they did not consider Starlight a main character. And then there's the cheat sheet. Here's a list of main characters. Who's on that list? Starlight. It's like, oh, I see. Kind of disappointed in that one, I'll be honest.
Who wrote the cheat sheet?
I don't know, but it was an official one.
Probably a combination of people. And who knows, it may have been added after they said that.
No, because I remember this was when they were making season 6, and he was saying it during when season 6 was airing.
Oh,
so that's like, who knows? Or maybe at that point, because I noticed towards like midway through season 7, which is at that point they would have been working on, Starlight was significantly reduced.
So they may have, at the point when he said that, they have
already
kind of pulled that back.
Yeah, because they were pushing her pretty hard in season 6 and partway through 7. Yeah, I remember like halfway through season 7, all of a sudden, she just is put way more in the background. And then from there on out, she just kind of exists.
Yeah. There was, going back through some of these episodes, there was some interesting things, especially when looking at seasons 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Really going back and looking at that. Season 1 does have an interesting feel to it. I think we've mentioned this through a lot of our previous reminiscing about season 1, it isn't as good of a season as people say it was.
No.
It's not a bad season by any means, but you read it.
Go back and look at
you go back and watch it and you go, yeah, these are good episodes, but they're not, especially when we see it, what we have now, they're not like super exemplary. It was, I guess you could say, you watch it now and you can see that they were really playing it safe.
Mm-hmm. Especially again, at the time, they were doing
makes sense.
The educational and informative thing.
Yeah, it really makes sense why it's like that. So it's not really a fault, although it is, but it isn't.
It was
it's that way for a good reason.
Nostalgia really helps that season along for people's thoughts of it.
And that was another thing that I wanted to put into it. There's a lot of nostalgia into season 1, which will make these episodes seem a lot better. And sure, that's a good reason for it to seem really good, because a lot of us have strong memories tied to those episodes, even if they're not the greatest of the series. They still mean a lot to you. And when you're saying favorites, like I always try and analyze my own biases to try and look past them for an objective thing, but you can't always do that. And as you've told me many times, you shouldn't always do that. In different words, but yes. It is interesting. And then seeing the change from season 1 to season 2, where things you can definitely tell they turn the knob up a little bit for season 2.
They removed the limiters.
They dropped the weighted training robes.
Yep.
And then things really started to pick up, and you can tell in season 2.
They got a little more experimental in season 2.
Let's do things a little bit bigger now.
Yeah, seasons 2, 3, and 4 really was where they really started experimenting a lot more.
Things definitely got bigger and different.
I feel towards the end they did start to play it a little more safe a little bit, and then somewhat, and then other episodes were experimenting. Hey, let's do a big storyline. Yeah, that was weird. So we got this weird, like, this is a pretty standard episode. Oh wait, here's an episode which ties into this bigger story that we were telling over the course of 2 seasons.
Yep.
So it's kind of a weird mix there.
Yeah, they started trying a lot of stuff, and sometimes it didn't quite pay off, but you got to take risks. Yep. You can't get big and do really cool, awesome stuff without taking the risks and stumbling a few times, which they definitely did.
But, yeah, they did.
Yeah, and there's definitely one on here that you and I are going to heavily disagree on.
Oh, fun.
And you already know which one it is just by me saying that. I can almost guarantee you can guess.
All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and do our lists.
Start on the actual list.
Yeah, the actual list done. Because, there's a lot you could say about this, and that's kind of the problem. I don't want to say too much because we'll be
God, we could probably sit here for hours
I don't want to
discussing do that.
This. I don't even want to do
getting to the list.
Because I really don't want to deal with editing that, because I will just... But going on. We're gonna go ahead. We're doing things a little different. We're gonna start off with the bottom 5, the worst episode. What we consider the worst episodes of the series.
Our least favorite, if you want a little bit nicer way of saying that.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be nice about this one.
Well, you're not starting out with that episode.
No,
because we're going to start a little differently, right?
Yeah. Again, so the 5 worst episodes, and we're going to also. I'm going to change the format. Which honestly, we probably should have been doing this from the beginning. What we're going to do is, rather than one of us says something and then explains it, and then the other one says something and explains it, we're going to both say our choice for that slot and then both explain and take turns explaining it. So we're not doing that weird stuff.
Okay.
So the 5th worst episode of the entire series, in my opinion, is All Bottled Up.
Yeah, and here I put A Matter of Principles.
Yeah, so All Bottled Up was the one, if you remember, that was Starlight and Trixie and the anger management thing and all that stuff, which I just feel is between the fact it was just Starlight and Trixie both just being annoying, the bizarre, just let's just change how magic works for no apparent reason. And whatnot, and just everything about that episode is just really frustrating. And then the only saving grace was the very small amount of main 6 bits in the song. Everything else is just
even
annoying.
Forgot about that section.
Exactly. That was literally the only thing I found good about that episode. Everything else was just really annoying or frustrating to deal with. And this was like the season 7 part 2 of the premiere because of how they did it that year.
Yeah. I put Matter of Principles just because I can think whoever wrote Discord on that episode completely forgot who Discord was. It was so out of character for Discord. He's supposed to be, chaotic, but still a good guy. And this one, he just went completely just became a jerk out to ruin things. It was just like, yeah, he's a jerk, but he does things to test, but this wasn't a test. He was just over and above, and it was just there was some jokes and things in there, but it felt weird. The pacing was a little bit, it wasn't the worst thing. Starlight was in there, which surprisingly, Starlight wasn't the worst in that episode. And that was another one. It just boggled my mind how in an episode that had both Starlight and Discord as the two primary characters, Discord was the worst.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
Yeah.
That and the rest of the episode is basically forgettable, other than how do you do, fellow kids, and the giant blast that Starlight does. Those are the only two things that are really memorable, and they're not even that. It's just,
The fourth worst is where I put a matter of principles.
There it is. Same reasons?
Yeah, pretty much the same reasons.
And I put Magical Mystery Cure here, and this is one that you and I are going to argue over all the time.
Yeah,
because I know how you feel about this episode, and this one, Matter of Principles, and what would have been the sixth worst, which was What About Discord, were all a tough choice for me down here.
Mm-hmm.
But I put Magical Mystery Cure, and this is an example of why things are so hard to compare, because the reasons why this one is bad compared to why Matter of Principles is bad. Matter of Principles is bad because the writing was just not... The pacing and structure were... They could have been better, but they were mostly okay, but the content of the story was just not great. Magical Mystery Cure, the content was fine, but the structure and writing was just so... What did I say back in the day? Not here, but back then. It was rushed and incoherent was the terms that I used way back when it came out, and that still holds up today. I have nothing against Twilight becoming an alicorn. At the time, I had some major reservations about it, and I don't think that I was wrong. I still don't think I was wrong for those reservations. They turned out not to be the case, although that was worried in season 6, but whatever. But the entire episode was just just incoherent. I know why now, and it wasn't Larson's fault. It was not M.A. Larson's fault for why it was such a mess. It's because he had to basically rewrite the episode and at the very last minute because, oh, by the way, you've got to now make it a season finale, not a series finale. Yeah. Good luck. And you've only got one episode to do it, not a 2-part finale. Yeah. So that's why, but it was still just, I can't give it a high rating, even though the content's fine. Everything else, just the technical aspects of it are just bleh.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm going to reveal this right now. When I was making my top 10 list, I really was thinking about it, putting it number 10, Magical Mystery Cure number 10. I really thought about it for a long time. It didn't make it.
At the bottom of the tops?
Yeah, I almost did it. I was thinking about it. I was like,
I'm actually surprised you didn't.
I thought about it. I was really thinking about it. I really do like that episode, but I also know that, yes, it is kind of a messy episode overall.
And honestly, if you love that episode, go for it. You're perfectly right for doing it.
In the end, I decided that there wasn't actually that much of it. Is it part because I realized part of my reason was just I wanted to see how you'd react to me putting it number 10.
Oh, I was expecting you to have it in your top 10. I remember the episode of the podcast before I was here that you talked about it. I
loved it.
And you absolutely loved it. And it makes sense for you. It's Twilight becoming an alicorn. That's like your dream.
That was my dream at the time. I even said it way back when.
Bought a giant plushie of it before it was ever official.
Yeah. I mean, I said it way back when I found an old thing I said where it's just, I said, I would love Twilight to become an alicorn, but that will never happen.
And guess what? It did.
It happened.
And my God, the drama.
Also for me, it was just I just really loved the songs.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, the content was great. The concept was fine. The songs were amazing, but there was not enough. It needed to be a 2-parter, and Larson needed to have more time to write it. And if he had 2 episodes, if it was a 2-parter and he had the time to write it the way he needed to, this episode probably would have been in the top 10 for both of us.
Who knows?
Like, it almost made the top 10 for you now, even with all of its problems. If it didn't have those problems, it probably would have, right?
Probably would have number 1.
I wouldn't be surprised. It probably would have been the top 10 because
I watched that episode.
So
I watched it 4 times that weekend because I just couldn't stop. I kept watching because I loved it so much.
It's such an important episode, and it hurts me to have to put it down here.
Right. But move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Move
from
on.
That one, probably.
Third worst.
Yeah, third worst. I put Princess Spike, and you put.
The mysterious Merduel.
Oh yeah.
I did not.
Yeah, Princess Spike for me. That remember that was Doshido's first episode and first of 2 episodes he wrote. Actually, technically he wrote 3, but
yeah.
anyway, I remember that was one of those things where it was weird. Spike was kind of frustrating. You know, the whole episode Spike was just being frustrating. It's just his entire thing of it. And it's one of those things where there's a lot of little things which are kind of nice, but they don't make up for the core. It's just really annoying. It's just Spike's being dumb, and it's not in an entertaining way. It's annoying and frustrating to watch it. The whole weird thing with the gems and we gotta make sure Twilight stays asleep and can't do anything else. Just nope, gotta It was just everything about it.
The only good thing I can remember about that episode was the GIF edits with Spike with the sniper rifle.
Yeah, it was just frustrating.
It has nothing to do with the episode. Yeah, it was not a very. It wasn't my least favorite for that season. What About Discord was worse in my opinion, but it was my second worst for that entire season. I remember it was not great.
I remember that. That was my second worst for that season.
I put Mysterious Merduel in here because, as you've heard from the recent episode, I really did not like that episode. How they treated Dash in that episode, I think, was just horrible. It was just so wrong. And especially that was season 2.
Yeah, season 2.
That was still when I was just
fandom.
I was just joined in.
This was an early episode too. In this,
it was like mid-season.
It was like 7.
Yeah,
it was not mid-season. Like
so I had just recently gone through all of season 1, and because I joined the fandom and started watching during the break, during the hiatus of season 1.
You started like literally like a month before season 2 premiered.
August 27th. It was a Saturday night.
Yeah, I know.
I remember all that.
It's in season 2 premiered in September.
I was still in that mode when everything's new. I was locked in. I was so attached and getting all of this. Everything was great, and then
come October.
And then this episode happened, and because I was so locked into Rainbow Dash being my favorite character. I love this character, and then this happened to her, and I hated it so much because I just felt like it was just wrong. Like, why would they do this to her? Like, because how they treated her, I thought was just so horrible, and even now I cannot reconcile it. It just leaves a really bad taste in my mouth.
So don't lick it then. Gosh.
Taste the rainbow. No.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I remember that was not. I remember I did not like it for different reasons, but I still didn't like it.
Yeah, we both didn't like it for very different reasons.
Yeah, but yeah. So it was. Yeah, it was. I remember that was my second worst. From that season.
Yours was Cutie Pox, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Your worst of that season.
The thing is, Cutie Pox isn't even touched this bottom 5. I'll tell you that.
I think you and I
it's like, that's all I remember for a long time. I was like, oh, the Cutie Pox is so terrible. And it's like, you have no idea how much worse it will get.
Oh man, I wish we could go back to the old days of the fandom when those were the worst things that we had to deal with.
Yep.
Remember back in the fandom when the worst crimes a fan could commit was being arrogant? Remember that? God, I wish we could go back to that.
That just means we're just covering things up.
We just didn't know.
Yep. Okay. I'm getting a little dark
we're
here.
getting sidetracked. Second worst.
Second worst is for me is What About Discord?
You put that there. I have all bottled up here.
Okay, you hated it more than I did. But yeah, for me, What About Discord? That was the 2 worst episodes from season 5 both made it here. Both written by Neil Doshido. Both were terrible, and I remember his reaction to people going, "What the hell?" was really he was pretty He didn't handle the criticism well.
He didn't handle the criticism
well.
well.
What About Discord was just it was just it was frustrating. I remember that one was just Twilight was being
Twilight
weird.
Was out of character.
Yeah, Twilight was being weird and fussy in ways that she usually isn't. Discord was just trolling in a really he was trolling in such a way he got the rest of the main 6 to start trolling with him, even if they weren't intending to.
Yeah,
and just kind of like rubbing in Twilight's face, like, I hang out with your friends and stuff happened, you don't know about it.
It was another example of like, are you trying to teach her a lesson? Because it really doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, and this is post season 4, so by this point he should kind of be over that sort of thing. a little bit more better, but it was just really frustrating. I remember the one and only thing I really liked about that episode was the Back to the Future reference.
Yeah,
it was really much the one and only real nice thing I feel about that episode. Everything else about that was just frustrating.
The Bob Ross reference was pretty cool.
Well, there's some stuff in there, but
little jokes here and there, but they do not make up for
it was again, New Dosido wrote some decent little jokes, but they don't make up for the just bad whole.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, there's chocolate chips, but the rest of it is, well, I don't know, Brussels sprout goo.
Ew.
Exactly.
I was thinking you're going to try and make like a chocolate chip or raisins joke.
No. That's just...
Yeah, all bottled up. It was... Basically, I can echo everything that you said about it earlier.
Frustration.
It was just... It made a mess of so much stuff, too. How magic works is already a mess, and just throwing it into...
made it worse.
Trixie just teacupping everything. Yeah, that joke worked once or twice, not as many times as it did. But the whole anger into a bottle is just like, where the hell did this come? This is brand new. This doesn't fit with anything else that we've seen that's already been started to be established. It's Trixie and Starlight not in a good way. Like, you want Trixie and Starlight in a good way. There was another episode for that. I can't remember the name of it. The one where they go on a trip.
Road to Friendship?
Yeah, that one. That was a good Starlight and Trixie episode. Wasn't the best episode overall, but it was a decent episode. This was not.
Right.
But yeah, not enough good in it with the main six and the song, which was a good song and a good bit with the main six, but not enough. Not enough.
Does not make up for the rest. All right. So yeah, the worst episode, and I know for a fact we both have the same one because this is what it is. Yeah, we've railed on it before.
How many times?
We talked about multiple times, but it's going to come up again. It's every little thing she does.
Every little thing she does.
I hate this episode. I genuinely. This is of all the other ones. Every other one on here, I can find something about it that I like. This one I can't.
You want me to start listing things, or should you
I'm going to keep going.
See if I can get the same. I'm getting
like I said, I can find something about every other episode on this short worst list. I can find something in those episodes I like. This is the only one I genuinely cannot find anything about it. It's the only episode I genuinely hate. It's the only episode I genuinely refuse to watch ever again. I do not ever want to watch it episode again. I hate it. Everything about it was it's just Starlight focused in general, the mental enslavement, the quick forgiveness that said mental enslavement. The fact Starlight seems his mental compass is so broken she doesn't understand mental enslavement is a bad thing. Everything about this, also playing mental enslavement for jokes, it's so messed up, and I'm just genuinely shocked. I've said it again. I've said this before that Mike Vogel turned this in and thinks it's okay, and you rewatch it. Oh, it's fine. And I'm like, no, everything about this episode is terrible.
It's surprising because Mike Vogel has got some really good episodes,
but this one is
just
horrific.
Yeah, you basically listed all of the issues that I have with it. The whole and the biggest one. The mental enslavement and the lack of consideration that she did.
Lack of consequence for me too.
Well, the biggest mistake is the fact that, she, I guess it was accidentally enslaved her friends.
Mm-hmm.
Then she found out and went, oh, well, okay, let's use this.
No, it's fine.
Absolutely no concept of the fact that what she did was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, even though it's somewhat similar to brainwashing, which she already knew was bad because, she was told as such.
I've said a few times, I don't know how many times it's been on the podcast, the worst action that Starlight has ever performed through all of her history, even when she was a villain, was done here after her reformation.
Mm-hmm.
Her entire village, she never actually enslaved anyone. She manipulated them, but they still had their own free will. They could still at any moment leave on their own accord if they so chose to. She manipulated them into thinking that they didn't, but she did not actually control them. At this point, though, she has completely removed her supposed friend's free will.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it is worse than what King Sombra did to the Crystal Empire.
Dang.
Because then he physically enslaved them, but they still had their own mind.
Yeah, well, until the second time.
Until the second time with the helmets. Well, and that wasn't the alternate reality, but the other one just...
even again, later. Remember in the season 9?
Oh, right. Yeah, that time too.
He did it too.
But I was like, in the original Crystal Empire, where it was just,
Yeah.
physical enslavement, at least they still had their own mind.
Yep.
Starlight took even that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were supposed to be her friends, and she didn't even care until she got caught.
And then even then, when she got caught, she didn't know. She didn't care, and she was told it was bad.
Yeah.
She had to be told that enslaving ponies was bad.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like, if I'm supposed to sympathize with this character and like her, this is not the way you do it.
Yeah.
She was already on thin ice at this point. It's like, at this point, she's crossed a moral event horizon. I cannot ever like her. She's
and it's
genuinely
not even,
awful.
Yeah, and it's not even, it's the biggest issue that happened there, but there's so many other things that popped in play too.
The quick forgiveness.
Well, the quick forgiveness, but also the fact that just even going past all of that, it was a rehash of Lesson 0.
And a bad one.
It was, a bad one.
Especially since her panic lasted all 3 seconds before she jumped for the nuclear option, versus Twilight took a whole day to jump to a nuclear option.
Yeah, and even then, in Twilight's case, as soon as she realized the mistake she made, she was immediately into the, oh crap, I have to fix this. This was wrong. Starlight didn't even try and fix it. And
genuinely knew that she did wrong.
Yeah, as soon as she did it, it took her all that point until she just in her panic did something, made a mistake, but as soon as she made the mistake, she realized the mistake and that it was wrong. Starlight didn't. But it also ties into the whole Twilight becoming an alicorn thing. I was apprehensive at first because I thought that at first, making Twilight an alicorn, she's going to get replaced. And then it didn't happen, and I was happy. And then season 6 happened. And then this episode happened. It's like, we have a brand new unicorn that's following the exact same steps.
I genuinely think they were planning on replacing Twilight until they saw the backlash.
Yeah, that whole season 6, one of the reasons why it's so low is all the references to Starlight, it brought back all of those old fears that were replacing Twilight, which is why I was afraid of and apprehensive about Twilight becoming an alicorn in the first place. It brought all of them back up, and it was that's why this is the worst.
It's a bad episode.
It's not great.
I hate it. I genuinely hate it. Yeah, so that's our bottom 5.
So yes, those are the worst.
I think some of you
worst.
probably expected that based on how we talked about that particular episode in the past.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and move on to
let's go into the nicer topics.
Top 10. Yeah, so we've always done our lists of 26 episodes overall and everything for every season. So it's like picking 10 out of 220 something episodes is really difficult. I sat there agonizing for a while. It's like you're looking at it, you're second guessing, you're triple guessing. You go back and
re-guessing
change it
and wanting to change
no, wait,
it
that should go here. No, that should go here. Or maybe I should leave that off the list. No, I should put this one on the list. No. Should I do this? I don't know. Am I just doing this one out of pity for it or what? No, I don't know.
Oh God, all of those are so true. Every time I look at my list that I have right now, I don't think it's right. But I also think of all the changes I would make to it, and I think those aren't right either. I would say it is truly impossible to have a true final top 10.
Maybe for you.
For me, like every time I'm going to come back to this, I'm probably going to want to make changes.
For me, it's just,
I can't.
It's my 10 favorites, so it's like quality does not necessarily enter into it. Hence, why Magical Mystery Cure almost made it.
Yeah,
quality is not necessarily the highest barometer. It's how much did I enjoy it? And so top 10. We're going to once again go from 10 to 1. And we're going to do the same thing we did with the bottom ones as well. So we'll both say ours, and then we'll explain them.
Have some similars, but
I'm suspecting some
differences here
big differences here and there, just because
we're so different in what we enjoy.
And again,
so
we're spanning 9 seasons versus just 26 episodes in one season.
Yeah.
So that changes things up again. So for me, number 10, I put the Cutie Map.
And I put Sonic Rainboom.
See, for me, the Cutie Map, and I remember this is one of those things. Season 5 was the first time we did a list episode, and I remember now going back to my list. I regret a lot of how I ordered that list.
Oh, God.
I put the Cutie Remark at number 1. I'm like, why did I do that?
Oh, that was
this finale.
That was the finale. Oh, if I remember you saying you didn't like that.
Yeah, I don't know why I put it number 1. I think it was one of those weird that we just knew this as like it's expected. If I don't put it on, someone's gonna yell at me.
Oh, people are gonna.
I know,
yell at
but
us
that was
anyway.
the time, and now I'm like, and then later on, I didn't care. as much. But yeah, it's the cutie map though. I genuinely like that one. It's the one time Starlight was well written.
I would disagree that she did have some good episodes later
This
on.
this is back when she was a villain.
She definitely
She was entertaining, and she was one of the best villains we ever got. It was one of the best. I still say it's pretty much one of the best premieres we've ever gotten.
It was like, I remember you saying
so
back in the
different.
time, it was different, it was new, and it was a breath of fresh
It
air.
was weird. Emma Larson did a great job on this one. It was so different. It was one of the things that kind of took a while to really sink in how good it was. Because at the time, it was like this. Everyone came back because this was after the hiatus.
Oh God,
the hiatus with capitals.
Yeah,
and everyone came back to it. What? This is our premiere. It's so low stakes.
But it wasn't.
Yeah,
there was a lot. It was a deep episode.
It was it was a really well done episode overall about the whole thing about the brainwashed cults and this whole discussion about what equality and all this stuff that can stem from, and the misunderstanding that Starlight had of what equality is, and so on and so forth. There's a lot there, and because of that, I feel like it's one of the best episodes of the series. It may not be the best, but it just ekes itself into the top 10.
Sonic Rainboom. This is on this section of the list for one reason, maybe two reasons only, but one primary reason, and it's the nostalgia factor. It's Sonic Rainboom. It's Rainbow Dash. It's season 1. It just holds such a place in my heart because of what I felt at the time and the attachment to the characters that it gave me. That's it's Rainbow Dash at her best, basically, for that season, and for the time, it meant so much. I will always have a place for Sonic Rainboom and Season 1 Dash simply because of the nostalgia factor. Nothing's gonna pull that one down. Like I was saying in Season 1, if you really look at it, Season 1 was not the best season.
Nope.
All the episodes were pretty much playing it safe, including this one.
Yeah.
There were way better episodes. Obviously, I have 9 higher than this, but not the nostalgia factor on this is just so huge. Yeah, it's got to be in here somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. So
number 9.
Number 9 is where I put Slice of Life.
I put Frenemies.
Oh.
I will say Slice of
Life
was a tough one.
Is a large chunk of it is the 100th episode, and it was crazy and frantic and so different in a weird way, a different way. It just we're just these background characters it was nuts. It was just the sheer just what they did.
It was just absurd in a good way.
Let's just focus on these background characters and all that stuff. Let's have Gummy have a monologue about cutie marks.
Oh my god, that was so amazing.
Vinyl and Octavia have a duet that goes crazy, and they're riding a big old turntable out into town and picking up ponies and
literally jumping the shark.
Yeah, and it's just it was crazy and fun and weird. And Slyra and Bon having their best friends moments and all that stuff, and Bon turning out to reveal a secret agent and all this stuff. Who has two names?
I have Slice of Life. It's one of my top for the season. It was an amazing episode. It really was. It was so absurd in such a good way. I'm so happy they did it.
Yeah, and I feel it's better than the other milestone episode, 200 episode, way better.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to which one was it? Looking at my top 5s for the all season. Oh yeah, that one's not even on there.
Yeah.
It didn't even make it in there. I mean, don't get me wrong. Episode 200 was a good episode. It's not comparable to Slice of Life in any way. But Slice of Life was an episode written for the fans.
Yeah. That's why it kind of gets at number 9.
Yeah, I put Frenemies just because it was...
Frenemies was great.
Oh, God, it was a great episode.
I was debating about that one. Almost made it. A couple times. That was one of the ones that got on for very briefly before I pulled it off again.
I think Slice of Life probably could have got into this list if I had done my list differently. But, of course, I can say that on basically any of these just because of how I started doing it, and I decided that one wasn't work. The way I was making the list wouldn't work, so I tried doing it in a different direction, and Slice of Life just didn't happen to make it that time. So, yeah, I put Frenemies, just the three villains in a villain episode, watching them work together. It was different, and it was great.
It was great.
It was absolutely great.
That might be number like 11 or 12 if I was going to extend the list out.
Oh, it worked so well, and the whole bit coming so close to realizing what friendship
almost figured
is.
out.
No,
They almost figured out what friendship could be.
They almost found the magic of friendship on their own. God, now that we know what Grogar is, that was Discord. Imagine if they had actually figured it out and actually like somehow redeemed themselves. Imagine Discord's response. Well, that wasn't supposed to way that was supposed to go. Obviously, he wasn't trying.
Yeah, he was trying to put an obstacle for Twilight to overcome.
Yeah, he was trying to make them an actual villain against Twilight. So imagine if he actually reformed them on accident. It would just be like,
was this failure or success?
Task failed successfully.
Yeah.
God, it was such a good episode.
That was a really fun one, and yeah, they really played off each other really well.
They really did.
That was just really.
They're a nice little family. They really
family.
The mom, the dad, and the kid. Yeah. It just works too well.
Yeah. Number 8 is I put Amending Fences.
And I put Tanks for the Memories.
Mending Fences for me, this is another M.A. Larson episode. He's getting a lot of play here, you know. This
M.A. Larson was an amazing
3 episodes
writer.
so far, all M.A. Larson.
I'm trying to remember Mending Fences. That was Moondancer, wasn't it?
That was Moondancer. That was when we first met Moondancer, and just find out basically she's Twilight, but, well, what if she didn't discover friendship? And just that whole thing is another interesting thing. Twilight feeling the guilt of just abandoning realizing she just straight up abandoned Moondancer. This filling in some blanks from just kind of just backstory stuff. Yep. Not really important backstory stuff other than the whole idea is Twilight just rejected friendship, and now it's like, no, she kind of did, but she just didn't understand really what it was and stuff. So she's kind of had this ponies who were kind of her friends, but she didn't really think of them that highly.
Workplace acquaintances.
Yeah. And so there's one pony who's so much like her, both also nerd lives to study, also even had the same hairstyle for a long time. And there's kind of where she was the closest, Moondancer was for a while the closest thing Twilight had to a best friend, if you don't count Shining. But yeah,
BBBFF.
Shining's a weird thing in general. But yeah, just this whole thing about Twilight, having to, the princess of friendship having to realize that she might have ruined someone. And she kind of did. Moondancer shut herself off from the world after Twilight left.
Yep.
You could read as much into that as you want.
Maybe that's why we didn't see anyone with Twilight in the final episode.
Perhaps.
Because Moondancer couldn't be there.
Yeah. It's just that whole thing is like, it's another one of those what if. She represents what if for Twilight. What if I rejected friendship and whatnot. That's what we see. And so it's kind of interesting for that, and just the whole the reconciliation and everything. And Pinky was there too, and she kind of was fine, but she wasn't really the important part.
Because Pinky needed to do what Pinky needed to do and throw a party,
that party, and recreate, and so that they can proper apologies can be made, and friendship be mended, and all that stuff.
And they can amend those fences.
Yeah. It was really.
It was a good episode.
I just really loved it because then, of course, it's Twilight focus. So.
Yes. I put Tanks for the Memories because
winter is coming.
Yes. Tanks for the Memories. Season 5. It's a Dash episode.
Oh yeah.
Front and center, Dash episode hits the buttons for me. But we see a side of Dash that we really needed to see, and that I've always predicted was there. Some of my headcanons about Dash have been squashed. Season 7 squashed some of them. So I still had them in Season 5, and it really spoke to them. Seeing Dash... It's a weird one for me. I don't like seeing characters I like suffer.
Yeah, she's suffering pretty hard in this one.
But it's different. It's not just a suffering. It's seeing her come to terms with this. It's a painful moment, but it's also a major point of growth as well. Sometimes in order to grow, you have to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's been hurting, I guess, at that point. She's dealing with something and trying to bottle it in and
then
gotta let it out.
actively defy it.
Yeah. And then finally breaking through. It's such an important moment for her. And to see her break down and actually get through it. Yeah, it hurts to see someone break down. And like all the rest of them were crying. But after that, you know they're going to get better.
Yeah.
It just to see a character that I care about so much have that moment of growth was so good. And I am an absolute sucker for these, apparently, for these like sad emotional ones. I start looking at like film fiction stuff. I for some reason keep getting stuck to these sad stories, and I don't know why. I guess I'm just a sucker for the emotions.
Right.
That's what it is.
The
And
emotions.
this one really has it. There's so much emotion to it. And it's good, it's well written, and it's just amazing.
Mm. Right. So number 7, I put Lunar Eclipse.
Lunar Eclipse.
What'd you put?
I put Sleepless in Ponyville. There's going to be a theme to that.
Gee, I wonder. Yes, Lunar Eclipse. Here's the thing about this is when Luna's reintroduced into the show. Because after a whole season of just not being there, after her reformation in the pilot.
This was the first time we saw her after the pilot.
Mm-hmm. We were all like, what's Luna going to be like? And turns out she is someone who's awkward, socially closed off, just doesn't know, and displaced.
Yep.
She was written really well in this one. And it's just what I like about it is just this whole thing was like, this is someone who doesn't know what to do. She has no idea how to handle any of these different things. She's just hoping, she's just so still desperate for affection and love and whatnot, that she's willing to do anything for it. And also we're seeing that she doesn't know how to get it. And she's just awkward, and it's kind of endearing, but it's awkward in a different way than we've seen before.
Be that way.
It's awkward in the sense that she just expects them to just love her now. She's good now, so therefore she deserves their love, right? Just
right.
like she wanted before, and no, she's not getting it. And the whole Twilight's the only one who really believes in her. Well, Pinky's a weird one in this, but
Pinky's Pinky. Don't even try it.
But Pinky's seems to be trying to do the right thing, but doing a really poor job of it.
Yeah.
But Twilight's the only one who's willing to give Luna a shot initially, and because she's like, oh yeah, she's reformed, and everyone else is freaking out because, oh no, it's Nightmare Moon, blah blah blah. And there's all that stuff, and I just love that. Did we see Luna grappling with who she was and what she did, and kind of and then eventually to learning to embrace, I guess, kind of somewhat embrace her past. We we later episodes we kind of get more into this.
Yeah, there's a particular one in season 5.
We needed this one.
Yes, that's a good thing.
And I still will love that one shot I've always talked about. Every single time this episode comes up, I love to talk about that one shot with the statue of Nightmare Moon, and Luna's literally sitting in its shadow. I love how this is that one symbolism. That one thing visually conveys so much.
Everyone talks about that one season 1, season 2, where Twilight stands on a soapbox because of the visual joke. But you want to talk symbolism?
That's
Luna is literally living in the shadow of Nightmare Moon. And I like what you said earlier. We needed this episode. We could not have Do Princess's Dream of Magic Sheep without Luna Eclipse.
Mm-hmm. We can have a lot of the stuff, and then we had the stuff with the CMC and the dreams and stuff. We see more about Luna and her still, and then even later we still see her relationship with her sister still strained.
Yeah,
until that is repaired, and even after it's repaired, it's still they're sisters and all that stuff.
They're never going to completely get along. They're sisters.
Not all the time.
They're siblings.
They're going to fight.
If
siblings don't fight, something's wrong.
Yeah. When the siblings stop picking on each other and jabbing at each other, things are falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Sleepless in Ponyville. Speaking of
Scootaloo,
we have Scootaloo and Dash and Luna.
Yep. And Luna.
Oh god, this was such a huge thing for me. Scootaloo has always been my favorite CMC. Dash has always been my favorite main 6. And we've always kind of seen this sort of bond between the two, but not really. It's like, because we always had, the CMCs and their sisters, except for Scootaloo. But we know Scootaloo and Dash kind of hang out. But we always like, oh, they should be closer. They should be closer. And guess what we got? We got it here. We had that emotional bond between the two. The ending of this episode is still just so heartfelt. It's so great. I absolutely love it. It was everything I wanted. It was so well written. It was just, and yes, we got to see Luna in this one as well. I can't remember. Was this the first one?
This was the first one.
Yeah, the first time Luna started showing up for CMC to help them with their little issues, and it was just so well done.
Mm-hmm.
It really was. Hit all the right buttons. Some of my favorite characters finally getting the bond that I wanted to see them get. Yeah, it was good.
Number 6 is where I put The Perfect Pair.
Perfect Pair. I put A Canterlot Wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, The Perfect Pair, well, this is the one with AJ's parents.
Yep.
It was essentially Romeo and Juliet with ponies.
Okay, you basically summed up everything.
Yeah, but because of the fact, between the fact it was just a really, nice, it's kind of following a formula, but it's still really nicely written love story in general. But it's this whole thing of like the Apple family really, AJ, Big Mac, and Apple Bloom finally, really learning about their parents and how they met and their lineage and all that stuff. It's really emotional.
It really is.
I watched the first time I watched it. I cried a bit at the end.
There were some moist eyeballs going on.
It was we just got those little touching moments like Big Mac asking that one pony about the if we can come back and get more stories about his dad.
That was the scene I was immediately thinking of too. That one,
just
it's so
the bit
small.
with the tree. The song Felicia Day sang.
Oh, Felicia.
Yeah. Even the bit with the grandpair.
Yeah.
Just, kind of, him like realizing he screwed up real bad with his daughter, even if it's too late to fix it, really, with her. But he at least, connect with her family again and all that stuff. It's really emotional, well done. And, yeah, I remember that was the mid-season premiere for season 7, and it was quite the way to come back.
Yeah, it's come back. Oh, God, my heart.
Yeah. It was, it's like one of those that we said at the time is probably easily a top 10, and here it is.
I have A Canterlot Wedding, and you know why I have it up here. Because this was Tori Spelling, right?
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't even here for that joke, but I remember it. I can bring it back in. But
Please
yeah,
don't.
Canterlot Wedding. Twilight has a brother. Guess what?
Yeah.
Everyone threw a fit over that, and I guess I kind of understand why. He was like, oh, by the way, when did this happen? But of course, they got lampshaded by the other characters. You never told us. Right, but still, it introduced probably one of the greatest villains. Chrysalis. It was so well done. Chrysalis is just such a good villain. I'm so glad they didn't redeem her because she really needed to stay a villain through the whole thing. She really did. And this was season 2. This was like...
Season 2 finale.
Yeah, there was a finale. I mean, we had Discord showing up. We thought that was going to be like the height, which it almost was. Return of Harmony was actually my number 2 for season 2. Canterlot Wedding just beat it out a little bit. Just because the awesomeness of Chrysalis here and how well she was designed and written. She was creepy. That first scene when she transforms with the silhouette, when she opens her eyes and laughs. Oh, that sent chills. It was so good.
Everyone fell in love with Chrysalis.
Everyone fell in love with their
she
bug
didn't have
wife.
to do any sort of changeling magic.
Nope. It's also where we got Cadence. Sure. She's all right.
She's the pink princess.
She's the pink. We finally have a real pretty pink princess.
Yeah.
We don't need to repaint Celestia.
Yep. Yeah, so
but we got a great song. We got that whole backstory with Twilight and all of that. We got to know more about Twilight's family. So that was really nice to see. But Chrysalis.
Yeah.
That's really what this one all boils down to, is just how good Chrysalis was.
Yep. So yeah, they were actually halfway through now.
Yes, we're now on to the top 5.
So yeah, top 5. I put number 5. I put A Canterlot Wedding.
You put A Canterlot Wedding. Nice.
You put?
I put the ending of the end.
Ah, right. Okay, but yeah, Candlelight Wedding largely is all the same thing. Chrysalis was just an amazing villain. It was just one of those things. Just you guys just going in like it's a wedding episode. Are you serious? That's a finale.
That's what they're gonna do. They're just playing up the whole royal wedding, aren't they?
Hello.
Oh.
Yeah, there's that song. The songs were great.
This Day
Aria in particular was amazing. I know a lot of people were really upset about the brother thing. I remember why, because at the time, a lot of fanfic, if you look at some really old fanfics, there was a lot of fics where suddenly Twilight had a brother who'd never mentioned before, who just shows up and all this stuff.
And that's what they did.
Yeah, except, well, the fanfics it was pretty clear author inserts and stuff.
Inserts, yeah.
No, everyone's like, oh my god, they're actually doing the unknown brother thing. But yeah, it was just really well done. I even kind of like Cadence to a degree. And whatnot. And it's also the first time we really, we see Celestia directly get defeated.
Yes, that was a big
before that, it was always like, oh, she's just kind of standing around doing nothing. Like when Discord showed up, she was like sitting there like, oh no, this is terrible. But Discord's not doing anything directly to her.
Yep.
Versus this one, it's like, oh, power battle. Oh crap. And also they had a big old fight with the change. This is our first real fight scene.
Yeah, it was a great fight scene, and they lost.
Yeah, and they lost in the end. They won and then they lost. They won, they got through, and then hey, we're outnumbered.
Still.
Yeah. That was really interesting in and of itself. And just just the Twilight, and just I was right all along.
Then Applejack had that one. I didn't learn anything. I was right all along. That was a different episode.
Yeah. And the other thing was, kids, we see that a lot. So actually, sometimes we just see parts of the rest of the main six kind of not believing Twilight.
Not believing Twilight. Of course, there was that one where no one believed Pinky, but that was just a weird episode altogether.
That's because Pinky was not explaining things very well.
Yep. There was also the ending was kind of cheesy, but again, lampshaded. That was another thing. Is some of those weird points they lampshaded and made them funny. My love will give you strength. Ha, what a lovely but absolutely ridiculous sentiment. So they lampshaded it. The whole, you have a brother? You never said anything about that.
Also, did I miss anything?
Oh, and I forgot about that. That was the fandom's response. Yes, Luna. It was called the entire season.
Also, the first time we saw Vinyl's eyes.
Yes. And they were magenta, like rainbows.
Not red.
Not red.
Eat
that threw the fandom into a tussle for a little bit.
No!
I had the ending of the end here because for a finale, and I'm still considering the ending of the end the season 9 finale.
Yeah.
Because I like putting The Last Problem as it's kind of its own finale. The series as its own thing. So yes. It was one of the best season finales that we got. It was so big and well written. Everything about all the different scenes, all the things, it was just indescribably good. We got the 3 villains back together for their final battle, and it was epic. It really was. Some stumbles here and there, but overall, it was a great way to cap off the season and bring a conclusion to the arc. Yeah. It really was. I love for a finale, it really needs to be big and bombastic, and this one was definitely up there.
And ending with Twilight giving the biggest French speech ever.
Yes. We will not go quietly into the night.
Not quite like that.
I know, but whenever I think big motivational speeches, Bill Pullman always comes forward.
Yeah. Right, so number 4, I put Lesson 0.
Yeah, I was expecting that one to be up there. I put The Perfect Pair.
There it is for you. Okay, Lesson 0. I've always talked for a long time. It was my favorite episode ever. I know it was a very divisive episode. Some people really do not like it. It was the episode that made a lot of people leave entirely, just bail out on the show completely.
And I don't understand that.
This was a turning point episode. This is where they really went, let's do something a little crazy.
Yeah, wasn't that the 3rd episode of the season?
Well, yeah, but it was right intended. It was supposed to actually intended to be a series. The series, a season premiere.
Yeah,
because of that whole
Return to Harmony was supposed to actually be the finale for 1.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yada yada.
But yeah, it's also, we see Twilight. This, and later on, this would become an annoyance, but this was Twilight becoming completely unhinged.
Yeah, it was her.
We saw signs of it in season 1 here and there, but this is the first time we really see her just lose it. And yeah, she snaps and she makes these crazy faces. She does crazy things. She does
the Cheshire cat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all that stuff. And great, just great. All that stuff. It's good friends.
Such good friends.
Oh, yeah. It was just a really fun.
That.
Yeah, this was also another thing of this. We see that this is a common thing. It was just they don't really, her friends don't take her seriously, and that's what sent her in that final bit of the spiral. It's like she was still, had enough of a grip on reality to go, I need to go to my friends and ask for help. And then when we laughed in her face, that's when she snapped.
That's not a real problem.
Yeah,
not
that's
to
when
you,
she snapped.
To her,
it
is.
When the ponies she knows would have her back suddenly don't, what are you supposed to do?
All this you've learned about friendship, and all of a sudden your friends leave you.
Yeah, and that's also the she does the want it needed spell. It gets out of hand. She immediately realizes she screwed up, and she screwed up really bad. She tries to fix it. She's willing to accept her punishment, and then her friends finally intervene and go, yeah, it's kind of partially our fault because we laughed at her instead of helping her. So yeah, it's like it's an interesting thing, and yeah, this is an episode that's this is why Twilight can't be a princess, but as we saw, she did grow over time, including season 2 and over the course of seasons 2 and 3 and all that stuff, and it's just it was a really insane fun episode. I just really liked it.
Your mistakes do not define you. What you do about them does.
Yeah, and
she immediately tried to resolve and fix them.
Once she realized what she did, once she really kind of got that, once she got a little bit of a, I guess, sober.
Yeah, when she sobered up.
And she realized, no. I am doing something really bad, aren't I? Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, it was an amazing episode. It really was.
Best of season 2.
I didn't have it on best of season 2, but it was definitely in my top 5. But you and I have different preferences.
Yeah.
For number 4 here, I had, like I said, the perfect pair. Basically, I can echo all of your statements, but I guess because I'm an absolute sucker for deep emotions, this one got a little bit higher on my list for you.
Yeah.
Something you said earlier, the little bits of conversation. I can't remember his name. The darker for one that I can't remember what actor they were definitely trying to.
But yeah, I know, mustache guy.
And the mustache guy. Ask if we can come back and
wasn't it burnt oak or something like that?
What?
Wasn't it burnt oak or something like that?
Yeah, that sounds right. When Big Mac asked, "Can we come back and ask more?" That scene, it's so small,
little subtle things,
so simple, but it's such an important one. It's so deep to it.
I forgot the other thing I liked about that episode was how they're really subtly, it signals to the entire audience, their parents are gone. They're long gone.
Without ever explicitly saying they're dead, they made it pretty obvious. They're dead and made it real obvious. So you don't ask these questions if they were alive.
Yeah.
You don't do this if they were. There would be no point.
Yeah, it's a really emotional one.
Yeah, it is so emotional, and those things are so... I like them so much. They hurt so good.
Yeah, number 3 is where I put Twilight's Kingdom.
I have Saddle Row Review.
Okay. Okay, yeah, Twilight's Kingdom, that was the one, season 4 finale. That was, I think, I'll be honest, this episode does have flaws. There's why if you're trying to hide Twilight from T-Rex, why is there a stained glass window of her right there? Stuff like that.
Sometimes when you're in panic mode, you forget things.
We got to see Twilight really second guessing the whole princess thing, because this is, they're like, should I really be a princess? I don't feel like I should be. That's what, this has kind of come up a couple times, but it is a big thing.
It is.
Got a pretty good song about it. And also we got the big DBZ fight. And just, T-Rex was a pretty good villain.
T-Rex was it?
In a sense, he was just kind of this guy who just wanted to steal all the magic. He wanted all for himself. It's mine.
Sombra at first.
Yeah, but he wanted to steal this magic. It's mine.
I'm just starting to think of our first introduction to Sombra was just crystal.
Yeah. And he's also real well voice acted because we had different inflections depending, what state his body was in.
Yes,
he had the very kind of
is he foe?
That sort of thing, and then he gets more, deeper, more. I guess Jim Bro as he gets bigger because he loves them muscles.
Oh no. Is Tarek a himbo?
Oh, don't go down this road. Do not go down that road. You will not like where you wind up. But yeah, it's just all that stuff, and he just was, and then later on he play off Chrysalis and Cozy Glow pretty well. But yeah, it was just fun, and just that ZBZ thing. And none of us were expecting that sort of thing from My Little Pony.
We were never expecting,
and that's what we got. We got this big old knockdown, drag out fight between Twilight and Tyrek. And Twilight, having the power 4 Alicorns, and Tyrek having all the rest of the magic and Equestria, and coming to a standstill before Tyrek goes, "Hey, I got your friends.
Got your nose.
I got your friends. What you can do about it?" That sort of thing. And then, even Discord, him, leading up to this, he was still a huge jerk. He was quote unquote reformed, but it's like he was clearly just kind of trolling and probably just waiting for a good opportunity or something. But
he still hadn't
good
quite
excuse.
fully figured it out.
And now it's like, and this is the first time he really gets that understanding of what friendship means and everything when Twilight forgives him, even though he sold them out.
Yep.
And that was a pretty nice little scene too, and also the culmination, the keys and Rainbow Power, which never really the thing ever again
came back,
except for do Prince of the Dream Magic Sheep, the dream sequence.
Yes, but that's in a dream, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, I think my understanding was they said they didn't want to bring it back just because it was really difficult to animate.
Yeah,
that was pretty much the reason.
Yeah.
This is unfortunate, but it was still a really fun episode. I really liked it. And yeah, you can talk about how it wasn't that great, but it was just fun because DBZ fights and all that stuff are fun too. Sometimes you just need to have a big old cool fight scene.
Saddle Row review. This, as far as a regular ensemble episode, I will say this is probably... Actually, no, I have a better word. I have better words for this. If you were to have me pick any normal episode, so non-finale or premiere episode, to give an example of this show, this is the episode I would pick. Because this pretty much, in my opinion, exemplifies the show for ensemble episodes, all of the characters working together. This episode exemplifies it. I think all the other big and best are the bombastic finales and stuff like that, which you can kind of consider to be separate. So this is the best normal episode. Right. This is it. I cannot find a single fault in this episode. It was perfectly executed. Every character was on point, and it was main 6. It was our characters that we grew up with season 1 at their best.
Right, that was your 3. So
that was my 3. Number 2,
I put The Last Problem.
You put The Last Problem as 2. I have Twilight's Kingdom.
Oh, yeah. You put it a little higher than I did.
Want me to start since you just talked about it?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay, I will echo what you said, and I was kind of holding back a little bit talking about Ending of the End, about it being such one of the best for big bombastic endings, finales. I had to say one of the best because this one I think beats it, just because at the time it was so unexpected. But after we got this, it wasn't so surprising when we got End of the End because we already had this. But this was the first one that really just, whoa, they went that far. Yeah. They did that. Just so over the top, overpowered Twilight, just like you said, DBZ fight. It was epic. It was amazing. It was
beam spam.
Yeah. It was just such an incredible episode.
Oh, I just remember the behind the scenes stuff where they're talking about how they had to avoid certain words in the script and stuff because Hasbro would object to Twilight punching the villain. It's like, come on.
So you have to have other phrases and things.
Even just adjust the scene entirely because she can't hit him right now because of physically hit him right now.
Although, Tarek does run into her and,
Yeah, but he's a villain.
Yeah, but he's a villain. He can do that. No, it's probably just has to hit him with magic.
Yeah, see, he's fine now.
It's fine. That's because the kids can't use magic to hit other people, but they can use their fists. Yeah. You don't want kids doing what they saw in the show. You don't have to worry about it when it's magic.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, for me, the last problem was
your number 2.
Yeah, number 2. I put that here. It's okay. So we called it the perfect episode, more or less. But here's the thing. Okay,
You obviously have one better.
I've actually explained a lot of stuff. Okay, so the last problem is that clearly, the finale of the series, the epilogue, whatever you want to call it, it's the end of the series.
It is.
And as an epilogue, it works perfectly. It's perfectly executed for a series finale. Because here's the thing. If you remove that context, and this is one of the things you shouldn't remove, people trying to criticize the last problem, they'd remove the context of it being the series finale by saying, well, if you remove that context, it's just regular episode. It's just a fairly
do that.
bog standard. But removing context is not how you do particularly good criticism. This is how you get stuff like dumb crap like CinemaSins.
Yeah.
If you remove the context, if you remove the context, it is a fairly basic standard episode of just there's a problem, and it's ignoring the future stuff. If you just look at the core thing of the Twilight's coronation and stuff, is fairly standard stuff. But you have to look at it with the context of this is the series finale, and this is our chance to say goodbye to the characters. This is how they do it. There's the next chapter in their lives. The how we see how things go in the future, like, I don't know, 10, 20, 15, 20 years in the future, whatever, how long they said it was, so on and so forth. There's stuff like that. It's just as like that. It works as a series finale so perfectly. It's just including the final song, wrapping it all up with a big montage. It's just a really well done way to end it all. Because of that,
it needs its context, and you can't look at the episode without it. You can't just take things out of context and expect them to work. Yeah. Nothing is meant to work.
I've seen that was basically a lot of people were like, that's how a lot of people were seeing it negatively. Well, if you don't see it as a series, you're just, you only like it because it's your emotions are riding high because of the series and all that. It's like, no, it is a lot of series finales. If you look at them as just an isolated thing, fall apart pretty quick because they're not really intended to tell necessarily a amazing story. They're intended for the audience to say goodbye to the characters they like.
I think one of what's happening there is not quite understanding the line between two things that are very similar. Like, one of the things I try and do is I try and analyze and understand my biases towards an episode and attempt to look past them. But there's a difference between understanding the biases you might have to understand them beyond that and the context of the episode itself. There is a difference between there, but I can see some people getting confused as to doing that. So they try and do what I say I try and do and analyze their biases, but they go too far and take out context outside of their biases as well. Like you mentioned, it's just because of the emotions. Well, the emotions can be a bias, but there's also more to it than that. You can't just cut them all out.
Yeah.
So you cannot look at Last Problem without the context of it being the end of it all. It cannot be analyzed without that.
Yeah. And also as a bonus, it also gave me the Twilight I wanted, which is, hey, look, she's Celestia size now. I was always secretly hoping. Well, not so secretly, but I was kind of hoping for the whole, Twilight's going to grow and all that stuff. And I was hoping for that, and that's what I got.
Yep.
I got a lot of stuff in there, and Sunlight's still free and clear to go. I'm still free and clear to do that if I want. There is nothing stopping me. There's no canon getting in my way.
You can do that. You can do that.
R.I.P. Twilight Pie shippers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it did kind of damage my favorite ship, but whatever.
Yeah.
Apple Dash is still okay in my books.
Yeah, so that was my number 2.
And I already talked about my number 2.
So number 1, I put the Saddle Row Review.
And I put the Last Problem.
Yeah, I put the Saddle Row Review here. Is because it is, I said this about the Last Problem, but I think the Saddle Row Review is actually the perfect episode.
Like I was saying,
if I cannot find episode. Any real faults with it.
Yeah.
It's the main 6. Everything, all cylinders are firing on this one. It's just everything's perfect. It's also the main 6 are all just crazy fun. They're doing weird stuff. They're interacting, bouncing off each other really well. They're all playing to their strength, and just also on top of that, we got the unusual format they did for this episode with the interview thing, which was
it was
completely different.
It worked
and so it worked
well.
really well. And it's like this made to the point of I wanted more episodes like this. I wanted I almost want like G5 to be just that's the standard format.
I think it may have
Parks
gotten
and
old
Rec-
after a bit, but
it's a kind of a Parks and Rec / The Office style format. And I really like that in this. And I know it's like
I'm trying not to cross over in my head right now,
no,
and it's not working.
That's the style I like that really well. I really I thought it worked really well for this episode. And just everything, and just a lot of the little jokes throughout it. The weird thing about not clothes, the pinky clone in the background, the rarities, no spoilers, or Twilight sweet, and they're like, oh, so dumb, and then cut to them also joining in.
Only Twilight can make her.
Pinky trying to get Vinyl to stop playing loud music and all this, and a bunch of the stuff was just really fun. It was so much fun. I realized when making this list, I have to put it number one. I have to. It's as I said, season 6. I call it the weakest season overall, and it's like on the sea of mediocrity and badness, one gem rose above,
and it rules so far. Like I was saying when I was talking about it, since if you had to pick one episode to show someone who has never seen the show, what episode would you pick? I would pick Saddle Row Review, because while I think Last Problem and Twilight's Kingdom are bad, at least right now I think they're better. This could change by tomorrow morning. Are better. You can't just jump in and watch those, and they only work in context with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But Saddle Row Review stands above them all like that. If you have to pick one episode to show someone new. So yes, I had Last Problem, and you stated it all. Everything about that, it is, for what it is, the final episode of the series. It is the perfect send-off. It wraps things up. It gives us the ending that we needed. And it's so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And it needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have to put it at number one because of its impact. And for me, impact is so important. I have all these things about why I rate things higher than others, and I will elevate something because of its potential. Even if its execution isn't great, if it had the potential, if it had that core that could be something, and some things maybe just stood in its way, I'll give it a little bit of a boost. Not to where it would have been if it didn't have them, but the impact and potential that something has. And this thing executed its potential. And it had its impact.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I was thinking about that one for a while, but it's like Saddle Row Review for me. Just like it's the one I would probably go back and rewatch over and over again.
I would. Okay, if you want to put on that, I would go back and rewatch all of these over and over again.
But that's the one for me. It's just like this. Everything about that was
it's the perfect episode.
Nick Confalone did an amazing job with that one.
Yes.
But yeah. So it's That's our list.
There it is.
Yeah. I somehow seasons 1, 3, and 8 did not get a single episode on my list. They pulled out of consideration pretty quick.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. Season 8 didn't make my list at all, and I was surprised that season 8 wasn't in there. Looking at the episodes, and I'm going, these are amazing episodes, but they didn't stand out. Yeah. Much.
I remember saying that season 8 is kind of a weaker season. It's not the weakest, but I've always said season 8's kind of been, or I've been saying for a while, season 8's kind of been weak.
Yeah, it's a decent one, but yeah, none of my top 5 are really stands out.
Yeah, I was looking at my top 5, and I'm like, these are fun episodes, but they don't really. I was like looking and going, these don't really deserve to be in the top 10.
Yeah,
and season 3 was just like, that's still kind of a. Once like you're looking, I'm looking again. It's one of those. All of these just don't deserve to be in top 10 for me. And then party of 1, I was really sitting like, but I kind of want to. But really, in retrospect, there are way better. And it's like, I'm thinking about it's like if it's not gonna make, and I'm realizing it's not gonna make it.
When I was first
when I was cutting it down, I was slowly cutting things in. It got really far along until it finally got eliminated. But,
yeah. When I first tried making this list of top 10s, what I was starting to do was I was going like, okay, here's season 1, here's my top 5 of season 1, here's my top 5 of season 2, mix them together, there's my top 10. Now take my tops from season 3, merge them in, drop the bottom 2, because I only had 2 from season 3 to add. and then merge in the top 5 of season 4, and then drop the bottom one, so I only have 10. And I was just going to try and slowly merge them in and drop the ones that didn't make the list. I got to about season 4 and I had to stop because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
It wasn't working. I started dropping things and going, I can't drop that.
No, I can't do that.
But I have to, but I can't, but I have to, but I can't. So I had to try and flip it around and do it the other way. I started with the top ones for each season, ranked them, and then started ranking the other ones and mixing them in.
Yeah.
And that one, I guess, hurt less to do, but it was weird. I think I remember going through season 3. I didn't have high expectations of season 3, but it didn't actually get as weak as I thought it was going to be, looking over all the rest of them. But then season 4, I still get surprised how good season 4 was. Just overall.
For me, it was weird this. I'm realizing like only one episode from season 4 got on the list, but I'm like, that was like thinking about, like, does that really should be how it is? But I'm like, yeah, it was the overall was great, but every other seasons did have higher highs.
Yeah, like my number 2 for season 4 was testing 1 2 3,
Same
and
here.
I was hurting when that one didn't. It's like, but I have to, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
But I have to, but I couldn't. But yeah, I mean, and the low points for season 4, an entire 26 episode season, and I could only find 2.
I was able to eke out Equestria Games and Inspiration Manifestation, but
I actually didn't think Inspiration Manifestation was that bad.
it's not. But that's the thing. I was kind of it's like, well,
Equestria Games was on there. Of course, I'm not a huge
Cringe.
fan of
cringe.
Well, cringe, but there's also the one I actually have as the lowest on here. I'm not a huge fan of the Flim Flam brothers. They've just never. It's not that they're bad. It's not my thing. It really isn't. I'm not a huge fan of that style. So Leap of Faith didn't really make it. Super Speedy Cider Squeezy also didn't make it. It's a good episode, just not for me.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
we gotta go ahead.
We do gotta wrap some things up.
Wrap this up. We've been going really long.
Yeah,
we are really long now. So that was our lists. I don't know what you guys thought of them. I don't know if you guys have your own lists or what.
Yeah, they probably do, and they're probably very different.
Oh, they're probably different. I was not surprised that we had fairly large disconnects there.
Yeah, some similarities, but a lot of disconnects.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. I was like, I was expecting Saddle Row Review for you to be on there somewhere for sure, and Perfect Pair as well. I'm pretty much expected those two absolutely for certain, but I didn't know about anything else you put.
Yeah,
but that's and of course, the Last Problem.
The Last Problem had to be in the tops.
So that was our series thing. We tried. I guess we kind of mostly worked out.
It mostly did.
It just went really longer than I was hoping it would.
Yeah. So for only having 15 episodes to go through, it took longer.
We're going to go ahead and move on to what little found content. We're going to try to do that so quickly.
I'm going to try and rush through
music.
This.
If you want to listen to music, we're going to feature. Go to pony411.libsyn.com/show notes, and it'll be there in the show notes, and you can click on it and get the full song.
Right, music. 2 songs. Only 2 songs this week, was just surprising for 2 weeks off. But yes, first one is Loophoof's We Will 2.0.
Rock you.
Yes, it's a remake. It's like a VIP of Loophoof's original We Will, which is an absolutely amazing song, and this one just takes it up to the next level. It just makes it even better. I absolutely love this song. I love the remixes of this song, which we featured before, but it's got this the energy and rapid. It's drum and bass. And I love drum and bass, the vocal chopping, the energy, and it's got this, again, back to emotions, this sort of uplifting emotion to it that I absolutely love. And it's Rainbow Dash.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's got some good use of vocal chopping and I really like some of the effects used in the song, which I can't really describe very well, but they're there.
Describe, but Loophoof is really good with that. Second song is Foozogz remix of True Gift of Gifting. Yes, I got a remix of this song in just at the right time. Foozogz did it, released it just in the perfect time. The original song is absolutely incredible, and Foozogz is just like amazing at everything they do. It's interesting. It's got this heartfelt feeling to it. It's kind of hard to describe, and it's sort of reserved sort of energy to it, but it's not bombastic. It's not big and energetic, super energetic. And it shouldn't be, and it isn't. It's just such a good remix of such a good song. Foozogz is just amazing at this.
Yeah, it's Foozogz, so it's bleep bloops and pretty frantic.
But not super hyper.
Yeah. But that's, it's Foozogz, so it's kind of like, what
you kind of know what you're in for.
There you go. And those are the songs.
Yep.
I have no fan fiction because I'm just struggling to find anything worth featuring, honestly, at this point. I think we're in that weird post-series slump where people just kind of...
It's interesting. One of the fanfics I read a long time ago just got rewritten and is updating again, and I'm super happy. But
I think a lot of it's right now, the problem is just simple, where I'm seeing a lot of self-inserts and weird stuff and attempts to fix things.
Oh, yes. Everyone's going, I could have done it better. It's over. Yeah.
And of course, I've seen that these 3 different fics are all calling themselves Season 10, So there you go.
Yeah, it would make sense. It makes sense.
It does. But anyway, that's the episode, and we're done finally. If you liked it,
go home.
If you liked it, you can go to pony411.libsyn.com and check out past and future episodes there. Again, spelled LIBSYN. You can subscribe to the RSS feed there and comment on all that stuff if you want to. You can also, check out the links that will be there at the top of the page for other destinations for the podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, and YouTube. You can find us all of those. Search for Pony411 on any of those. Play.google.com/music for Google Play because they're way. And of course, YouTube.com/Pony411. You can like, comment, subscribe there if you want. Or again, search for us and you'll find us any which way. You can find us and subscribe and all that stuff and listen to us as we come out with new episodes. You can also listen to us via ponyvillelive.com if you want to. Check us out there and see new episodes as they come out, see other podcast episodes, and see radio stations. And one of those is Ponyville FM, where we air every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can listen to us there and listen to live DJs and music throughout the rest of the week if you want. You can also contact us via email, pony411podcast@gmail.com. Questions, comments, criticisms. What is your top 10 if you have one? What do you think of our top 10s? Were we completely off the mark at all? Did you kind of agree with some of it? Did you understand where we're coming from? I don't know.
Always strive to understand, even if you disagree.
Yeah, there's all that stuff. You can do that via that way. And of course, you can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/pony411. All that stuff. See new episodes as they come out there. Maybe occasional pictures if they ever come out, but that doesn't happen that often. But it does happen occasionally. And there's also, we're on Twitter at Pony411 if you want to follow us there, favorite, retweet, all that stuff. See us occasionally post things when things happen, I guess. Sometimes.
I don't ever post.
Yeah. And of course, or our personal Twitters, I'm at Nemesis Prime and he's at Alcatraz at 770 and _ at the end. I'm still releasing Transformers reviews. What a shock.
Shocker.
Flying defiantly in the face of Kappa, but not really because, well, that's been clarified and looking like I probably won't be affected too badly, if at all.
Yeah.
Which is good. You just don't tweet.
I just don't tweet. I have a very curated post.
Oh, I see.
What I post is very, very curated. Just to the point of nothingness.
I see how it is. Okay. Anyway, that's how you can contact us. Join us in a couple weeks. We'll be back in January. By the time you hear us again, it'll be January 2020.
2020.
And yes, we will be changing up things a bit. Starting with that episode, we'll be going monthly. I know that sounds crazy and why, but the thing is,
the sky is falling, everything's ending, we're going to be
the reasoning is simply we do not think we have enough stuff to talk about to make us last that long, especially since we have no idea when Pony Life is starting.
Yeah, if we were to try and continue our current schedule,
we would run off topic real quick.
We would be starting to really scrape the barrel, trying to do really things, and it would just not go well for anyone The episodes would be super boring.
Yeah.
And uninteresting.
Or repeats of stuff we've already done.
Yeah. Or it would be just us, going over old episodes. Which I guess are
it's
somewhat
fine to
interesting,
agree, but we don't want to just do that.
We don't want to just
again.
do that.
So yeah, we're going to be going monthly for a little while. We'll keep you posted if that changes in the future. It might change again to Pony Life. Or that's the other thing. We don't know what Pony Life is going to be like.
Yeah.
We're not going to be talking about Pony Life if we hate it.
Yeah. If Pony Life comes out and turns out like, well, let's say best possible option, unlikely, but best possible. It turns out like Pony Life is something that we can talk about a single episode of Pony Life in a single episode here, and it's like weekly, it's just like a new season or whatnot. Then and it's great. Then sure, we'll come back for that. But that's unlikely.
We don't even know what kind of format Pony Life is going to take, so there's that as well. So it's just because things are so up in the air, we're just going to go monthly for a little while and reevaluate as things change. Yeah,
we'll be testing the waters with whatever content happens to come out between now and G5.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure things out. We're not disappearing. We're just
slowing down.
We're slowing down so we don't burn ourselves out.
Yeah.
Because we would hate it. And if we start hating doing this, which we don't, we love doing this.
Yeah.
But if we start hating it, then that wouldn't go well.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Quality would drop and no one would be happy.
You wouldn't be happy. We wouldn't be happy.
Then what's the point at that point?
And if you want to kill a podcast, that's how you do it.
Yeah, so that's it. So yeah, we're going monthly in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we'll start going monthly. So it'll be January and February, March, so on. Podcast, not bi-weekly. It's just how it is. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a happy new year, happy holidays, all that stuff. But until then, please pony responsibly.
See ya.
Bye.